Okay, so we're up to looking at credit and the poor on page 78. What am I doing? Who knows? So 15.6% of Australians don't have access to safe and affordable small amounts of credit. Consumer credit regulation and rights-based social justice, addressing financial exclusion and meeting the credit needs of low-income Australians. It's an article from the University of New South Wales Law Journal from 2012. And this is a problem. It's a problem because poverty leads to the need for small amount credit, but the current providers exploit poor people, which leads to more indebtedness, which continues the poverty they were trying to get out of in the first place. What's an example of somebody who lends small amounts of money to people and they are bad? And there's a bunny rabbit.
Nimble.
So payday lenders. So Nimble, Wallet Wizard, those types of organisations. Except you don't move on. So when ASIC has investigated the fringe lenders, smaller businesses, not so much the big banks, they found that many of them didn't try to find out what the consumer needed, nor did they really want to know if the person actually had the capacity to pay it back. Why do you think they don't care?
Because they can track them and then you just end up getting more money.
Yeah, because of the interest rates that they put on it.
Yeah.
They can get more money back over a long period of time. Okay, are we writing any of that? No, okay. All right, no writing for a while, cool. Click and click. Okay, so NGOs like St Vincent de Paul have been horrified by the ingenuity of businesses trying to take advantage of disadvantaged groups, including the poor and disabled, who end up having to use their Centrelink benefits to pay back loans with 1,000% interest. Especially payday lenders, our Nimblet, who still operate despite 2 lots of law reform to get rid of them. The original licensing scheme in the NCCPA 2009 and the Consumer Credit Legislation Amendment Enhancements Act of 2012, which banned exploitative consumer credit contracts, meaning payday loans under $2,000 for under 15 days. Okay, there are 3 main ways to get around the current regulation. So number 1, they can operate unlicensed. There are estimates that 1 in 5 of these small lenders are unlicensed. Number 2, they can operate from overseas online, so that's an issue you can bring up under technology. Technology is one of the other contemporary issues that we look at in line with consumer law. Number 3, they do it anyway because the benefit outweighs the cost for the business. So for example, Cash Converters has been involved in a major class action lawsuit for charging above the 48% interest rate limit in New South Wales. Basically, the whole industry shouldn't exist. They can only turn a profit if things go bad, so they're always hoping that they will go bad for their customers. Let's finish colouring in.
So, wait, are you recording?
I can pause, hang on. So, looking at radio rentals. In 2015, they agreed to pay back $1 million in payday loans because they didn't check if people could pay them back. And leases for people on Centrelink are so much worse. So are you aware of radio rentals and what they do? So let's say you need a fridge, you can't afford to buy a fridge, you can lease one from, rent one from Radio Rentals.
That's kind of feral.
Yeah, so Radio Rentals has been able to lease products to people receiving Centrelink payments and charge higher interest rates. They're not a very nice group. Example, a report by ASIC in 2015 found that if a regular person leased a $345 clothes dryer, they'd pay about 26% interest. But if someone on Centrelink got their welfare payments directly taken by a payday lender, they'd pay almost 900% interest, paying over $3,000 for a $345 dryer. I don't know if I just recorded that. I think I did. Oh well, it's there on the screen. Okay, let's look at our best friends, Nimble. In 2016, Nimble agreed to pay back $1.5 million in payday loans because they didn't check if people could pay them back. This seems like a lot until you find out it's only about 1% of the loans it has made. The same goes for all payday lenders. It's cheaper to cop the penalty or pay the refund where they've been caught doing the wrong thing because it's more profitable to break the law.
It's not very nice.
No, they're not very nice. Nimblet, move on. Cash converters. So cash converters agreed to refund 118,000 payday loans. This was terrible in that cash converters agreed to pay back the loans without any admission that they did anything wrong. Instead of going through a court case and having cash converters get found guilty and pay a massive fine plus the refunds, ASIC accepted an enforceable undertaking. Cash converters also agreed to pay $1.35 million for a total of 30 infringement notices or voluntary fines. Poor people are not treated very well. Did I just change that?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Okay, this was then investigated by a government review of how ASIC's handled the case. Remember before we said ASIC is not that crash hot at getting things really done. ACCC does really well, ASIC not so much. So what did ASIC do? They accepted the infringement notices, which was only $1.35 million. They accepted the enforceable undertaking, given credit, cash converters past, oh sorry, I've lost my place. Cash converters past breaches that they really should have taken them to court. Most importantly, cash converters actually bargained with ASIC and got ASIC to agree to not investigate half of its loans. This shows the ineffectiveness of ASIC in dealing with these people. Did I put that language in your thing?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did. Oops. All right. There are alternatives to payday lenders. One of them is called Good Money. Good Money stores are run by a three-way partner: Good Shepherd Microfinance, which is a non-government organisation, the NAB, which is the National Australia Bank, the Victorian Government, and that's it, it's a three-way. It's a three-way, sorry, whoops. Okay, so they operate in the same sector as these other lenders, loans for under $3,000, but don't have the extreme interest charges, and they actually teach the people who borrow from them how to save money and not need loans like that in the future. Yes, but they should take those charges away. Okay, so there was the Royal Commission into misconduct in the banking, superannuation and financial services industry. That commission went from 2017 to 18. It uncovered extraordinary facts about the conduct of banks and other lending agencies, for example, the Commonwealth Bank charging dead people. So what is the Banking Royal Commission? The actual inquiry and key points and recommendations, I have got links here which I will show. I will put them in the supplementary notes for you to have a look at. And I need to pause.
You guys only had 5 cases though, yes? How was that?
It is very good. All right. So Royal Commission into misconduct in banking, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so essentially all Australians have the right to be treated fairly and honestly in their dealings with financial service entities. The government, as a result, have protected consumers from being granted excessive credit limits and building up unsustainable debt across credit cards, and simplified how interest is calculated. They've improved consumer and small business access to redress by going beyond the Royal Commission's recommendations, by paying around $30 million in compensation owed to 300 consumers and small businesses, the unpaid determinations of the FOS and the CIO, the Financial Ombudsman Service, and the Credit and Investments Ombudsman. Okay, in your books there is a table of recommendations and government response to the Banking Royal Commission. I'm not actually going to read through them all. You can do that, or I'd probably recommend having a look at the second second. Yeah, the second supplementary link that I put in for today, the one where it's at a glance. Okay, so that's that table continued. And overall, let's see, overall, turning the page. All right, so overall, the profits for providing credit will always outweigh the costs of doing the wrong thing.
Wait, so is this all red?
Yep, this is all red, it's all bad, because as long as there are enormous profits to be made, every business in the credit industry, for example banks, are just doing a cost-benefit analysis. That is, we'll just charge this fee illegally and we'll rake in the money for a few years, then ASIC might tell us to stop. As long as they don't lose their credit licence or find a way to operate without one, like from overseas or through someone who hasn't lost their licence, they'll continue taking advantage of people when they are at their most desperate. And finishing off with a checkout video, that is the credit contemporary issue. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.